All right, live to talk everything football today. Kevin Bunk, Michael Merlo with you on a Thursday morning at 11:05 here. Mike McDaniel was just fired this morning. We'll hit that right away. We're going to go through John Harbaugh, his coaching or likelihood where he's going to end up, his coaching profile versus guys like Mike McCarthy, Kevin Stefanski, where these guys all rank with each other, what the Giants are going to be doing. A lot of Giants talk today, of course. And then we're also going to preview Wild Card Weekend, give you our picks for those games, picks for college football playoff semifinals, and that covers just about everything in football this week. It's an awesome football week, Thursday to Monday. We have big-time, high-stakes games. Seasons will end in every single one. Seasons will continue in all of them. But, Mike, we start with the NFL coaching carousel where Mike McDaniel was just fired.
Mike McDaniel fired, clearly, for John Harbaugh here. If you're Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, there's a connection there. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you know the connection with Harbaugh and Ross, but it's now I'm scared. Like, as a Giants fan, I woke up this morning and said, okay, as long as the Bills and the Eagles do not lose on this weekend, this Sunday, like, I'm good. Like, John Harbaugh is going to be a New York Giant. And now with this, I don't understand why they did it, but if you're firing a coach like Mike McDaniel because you think you have a chance at Harbaugh, like, I think they must believe it's real. But I'm going to ask you this. The Giant job is much more attractive than the Dolphin job right now.
I think to us it is, yeah. And just really quick, because I wanted to Google it because you brought it up and I wanted to know anyways. The connection to Ross and the Harbaughs is that Ross is one of the biggest benefactors to the University of Michigan. He's another alumni. Okay. So probably really tight with Jim, especially. But I think that the way that coaches look at jobs is probably very different from the way we look at them. We rank them based on how much talent's there, what assets they have moving forward. And when it comes to Miami, it looks very barren. But if I'm John Harbaugh, I'm saying I'm going to win wherever I'm going. And I'm getting 5 years wherever I'm going. I'm not getting fired if the first 2 years are 7-win seasons. I get longevity here. And if you want the warm weather, if you want no income tax, if you want your own general manager, that's why I've been saying the Atlanta job's more attractive than the Giants job, but that's a similar talent pool in both. Atlanta probably has way more talent around the quarterback, but that's the big difference with the Giants and all these other teams is you feel good about Dart. But I could see Harbaugh just saying, I'm going to go to Miami where we have an avenue to get very positive in cap space. You get rid of Tyreek Hill if you could find someone to take Tua's contract, which is very hard to do. But Tyreek's an easy cap boost for them this offseason. So they can go into next year, week one, saying we feel good about the draft picks we just had. We had a high pick. We feel good about the group of players we brought in. We signed Tyler Linderbaum. I brought him right over from Baltimore. And I'm going to make half the guys here that sucked competent players because I'm that good of a coach.
That doesn't make me feel good, by the way. That makes me feel awful.
I think John Harbaugh would look at any of these jobs and say, I have preferences, but I'm winning at any of them. Any of them, I'm winning.
Yeah, but I think it takes a little bit of time in Miami because there's no guarantee you're getting the quarterback this year. Like, who are you going into next season with? You're going to win with Tua? You believe he could win with Tua?
No, or win with Quinn Ewers? What if he just brings in Kirk Cousins on the minimum if he gets released, which doesn't look like it's going to happen because they just restructured? What if he brings in a guy like Penix in a trade? What if he brings in Tyler Huntley, who he loves? What if he gets Malik Willis in free agency? Like, there are avenues to say that John Harbaugh could win 9 games with a Dolphins team that just won, what, 6?
I think 6 games, right. Yeah, I get it. And again, it doesn't open up. When you have a coach that you were keeping, they're almost done with their GM search. So yeah, they knew that they had to have known where these general managers, potential general managers, stood with Mike McDaniel. So this is clearly, like, they could say all they want, this isn't about John Harbaugh. It is all about John Harbaugh. It is all about trying to bring him in to be the next coach of the Miami Dolphins. It's not about what these GMs want. One of them is the interim GM currently, Champ Bailey, I think it is. Yeah. And, he's looked at as the favorite right now. Like, he was obviously okay with keeping Mike McDaniel. So this is clearly a move to bring in Harbaugh.
They went 7-10 this year, Miami. Harbaugh absolutely wins them 2 more games this year. They were so poorly coached to start the season. He absolutely finds 2 more wins on their schedule. But either way, not an attractive roster, not an attractive cap situation, But a year from now, if Harbaugh took, would you agree with this? If Harbaugh took the Dolphins job and Stefanski took the Giants job, a year from now, I think the Dolphins are a more promising team.
Giants have Stefanski, Dolphins have Harbaugh. Next year, they're the more promising team.
From now, I think that we're going to go into that offseason saying Harbaugh's got them in a great place. And it's going to be like, all right, Giants are in a good spot with Stefanski, but, jury's out.
This is why when we were driving home from the Islander game on Tuesday night, I was so, I was excited, but I knew something bad was going to happen.
And this might not even be this might just be the tip of the iceberg if McDermott gets fired on Sunday.
It's done.
If they get killed in Duval and McDermott's toast, Dolphins fans are going to be toast too. That's the greatest job opening ever.
And he's got to take that job. And I'd almost be rooting for him to take that. That one I get though. As a Giants fan, I'd be okay with that. I would completely understand that one. It's Josh Allen. It's the Buffalo Bills. You're opening up a new freaking stadium for crying out loud. I would understand him going to Buffalo. I can't understand for the life of me. Well, I mean, I can, but the talent level, there's nothing just purely based on football. There's nothing that would drive me towards Miami compared to the Giants.
Right? Could I also propose a little devil's advocate here where maybe the Giants job is not nearly as attractive to people outside of New York as it is to people in New York who have watched the team every week because they're tied with the Jets for the worst record over the last 10 years. They're the only team that hasn't won that division over the last 10 seasons. And you're looking at a group of players who just won, they win 4 games? 2 of them at the end of the year. You don't have a top 2 pick in the draft. I mean, if they had the number 1 pick, it already feels way more appealing. But it's possible that this narrative that we push and I've pushed, that there's a lot of untapped talent with the Giants, they actually just made bad high draft picks. And maybe Abdul Carter isn't this freak that we all think he's going to be. Kayvon Thibodeau's doesn't have another level to his game. Jackson Dart maybe isn't perceived around the league, and I don't think this is true, as highly as we all think he is here. There's a geographic element of thinking the Giants job is really attractive when it might not be because they are straight up as bad as any organization in the league.
No, I get that, and they have been, and there's no doubt about it. But I also think kind of what we talked about the other night, which is, I think Giant fans, especially myself, are very honest about where the organization has been and the job that Joe Schoen and the people running this team have done over the past 10 years. And I'm not shy about it. It's been awful. It's been terrible. But I still think around the league, this is one of the premier franchises in the sport. And you had brought up a great point that Schoen may not be as, viewed as negatively as we seem to think he is around the league. Because if he was, Kevin, if he was known as this joke, as bad as John Mara has been, and how sick John Mara is, maybe he didn't want to go through another general manager search and then a head coaching search because of his cancer. Maybe he didn't want to do that. But I think he loves the Giants too much that if he was really viewed as a joke around the league, because they all talk to each other.
Yep.
I think he would have fired him.
And I also believe, and Giants fans are going to disagree with me, a lot of them, based on what I've seen, but I believe that if John Harbaugh called John Mara and said, I want the job, you don't have to do a GM search. Chad Alexander's my guy. He's coming with me. Shane's fired the next phone call that Mara makes. I do believe that he would get rid of him, but I just have 2 things quick to bring up. First, Connor Hughes' tweet that I just saw is he says, I'll read the full tweet. There are factors outside of what the Giants offer that he will find appealing. His daughter just started school at USF. No state income tax, ability to pick his own GM. Doesn't mean he'll take the Dolphins over Giants, but need to view it without blue lenses. And I would also remind you of when Jim Harbaugh took the Chargers job. Very different because the Chargers job was viewed as the best job because Herbert was there. We all thought it was great. They were a playoff team the year prior to Staley getting fired, and nobody doubted that. But they wanted to keep Tom Telesco there. And when Harbaugh, the day he left Michigan, which was after the NFL season because like Telesco was running their search for their next head coach. It was after the NFL season because they won the national championship, and they fired Telesco the day Harbaugh became interested because he needed to have Joe Ortiz with him wherever he went.
Mm-hmm.
That could be their thought process, the two of them. I'd imagine they think very similarly.
Yeah. And I would get that. I mean, I would get both sides. Everything I've seen, though, is that he's not going to have an issue with Shane.
But, like, I don't believe that. I think it's possible, but I don't believe it either. For sure. I've seen it, too. And it's possible it's the truth. I made a video about it yesterday that I don't think it would be – I don't think the reason Harbaugh doesn't end up with the Giants is because of Shane, one way or another, whether that's because – like, if he wants the job, it's going to happen. That's how I feel about it.
And I saw something –
with or without Shane.
Right, and I saw something yesterday. I don't know where I forgot where I saw it. But, like, when you look at the Patriots' overall power structure, right, who calls the shots? Elliott Wolf, the general manager, or Mike Vrabel?
Who calls the job for who?
Who calls the shots?
Oh, who calls the shots? Vrabel.
Vrabel calls the shots in that room. Even though Elliott Wolf was there long before Vrabel got there, it's Vrabel's team. It's Vrabel's roster. And I think that would be the same exact situation. I think it's so similar to last season with Vrabel going to the Pats. I think this is, outside of Harbaugh not playing for the New York Football Giants, I kind of feel like it's a very similar situation. Young quarterback, promising. You just had a high draft pick. It's all very similar.
And I also think Harbaugh has a lot more leverage than Vrabel did. That's one thing I will say, where Kraft would be like, hey, man, this is a great job. The Patriots job a year ago was better than the Giants job is today.
Yes.
And I'm not just saying that in hindsight. I mean, we all raved about this Patriots job last year. If you liked May, and everybody loved May even more than I did. If you loved May, it was a no-brainer, that job. And I think Kraft could have definitely... I think Kraft had a leverage that Mara didn't because of the franchise that he's built.
Yes, 100%. And remember, I mean, they had everybody walk through that door. They had Ben Johnson walk through that door and interview there. And I thought there was a chance that he could take that job at one point. But going back to the Chargers for a second, like, I love Jim Harbaugh. I think he's great. I think I'd rank him over Mike Vrabel.
Mm-hmm.
But just remember that year, they also interviewed Vrabel.
Yeah.
And, like, they could have had either of them. Like, Vrabel wanted that job, but realized he was number 2 to Harbaugh. Then he took the year off, took the job with the Pats.
Yeah, which worked out. I mean, Vrabel, for him, the last 2.5 years could not have worked out better. Getting fired in Tennessee, which probably pissed him off at the time, and he's probably not happy about it at the time, because I think he really likes coaching there. And then you end up in New England, and you're a 14-win team in year one. Couldn't have worked out better. But pivot quickly to Mike McDaniel actually getting fired.
Yeah.
The offensive coordinator, or at least offensive coach pool, is as good as I can remember it, or as deep as I can remember it. There's not a guy that I think of like Ben Johnson, where, or you know, when McVay was the young hot candidate. There's not a guy I really think of where I say, okay, this guy's an absolute can't miss. But if you're really looking for an offensive-minded coach or a really high-level coordinator that you want to break the bank for, Mike McCarthy would never do the coordinator thing, but great offensive-minded coach.
Yeah.
Kevin Stefanski, probably not a coordinator option this offseason. But again, you're satisfied with him for half of these job openings, at least, if he's your next coach. Mm-hmm. Mike McDaniel, I think, is an offensive coordinator candidate and a low-end coach candidate that probably ends up with Cleveland or Arizona if he wants another head coaching job. And Cliff Kingsbury getting fired and probably ending up as the hot offensive coordinator option of the offseason, because I don't think he's getting a head coaching job. And Brian Daboll, those are 5 really good offensive minds available.
Would love Daboll to come back as the offensive coordinator. I think Kingsbury, I saw something very interesting yesterday that Kingsbury could end up back with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Yeah. If Nagy leaves for Tennessee and he becomes the next guy in Kansas City. Saw that very interesting little tidbit there.
Did you see the report that Nagy's probably gone no matter what?
Oh, they're not bringing him back.
Well, they want to, but he wants to call plays if he's not going to get a head coaching job. So it sounds like he's done there no matter what. And I also think that tells me one of 2 things are true. Andy Reid's not retiring soon.
Yeah.
Or he's not the next in line. And they've made that very aware.
Yeah.
Spags is, or I mean, I think Kingsbury would be a guy they'd love to make next. It might be neither of them are next in line.
Right. Makes sense. That's interesting. You know what's funny? I keep seeing it, and McDaniel 100%. I mean, I'll get to my other point in a minute because I want your opinion on it because I just tweeted at somebody this morning when I woke up and it pissed me off. But either way, I think that when you look at McDaniel, like I would hire him. Honest to God, I don't know if I have blinders on because I love him, but I would hire him to be the next head coach of my team if I missed out on Harbaugh. Like, I think he goes ahead of Stefanski for me, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, I don't love Stefanski, you know that, so I'm not going to push back on that one.
I don't know where he would rank ahead of McCarthy.
I think McCarthy's way better than Mike McDaniel.
Okay.
I think there's, if you're ranking those three guys, McCarthy, McDaniel, Stefanski, which are probably the three best experienced coaches after Harbaugh, guys that have actually done it before. I think it's McCarthy and then a massive gap. Massive. Like, they're not even in the same stratosphere as Mike McCarthy, the two of them.
You know what's funny? Like, when you look at McCarthy's resume and you look at Harbaugh's resume, like, they're very similar.
Very similar.
Like, they're very, very similar. And McCarthy gets this bad rap. Is it because he's a big guy?
I think people don't want fat coaches. I think people don't want fat coaches. I firmly believe that, and I also have a working theory that I have really not put any evidence into, that when fat coaches become skinny, the team gets worse.
Yeah, Dable. That's
Dable. Rex Ryan got skinny, and the Jets haven't made the playoffs since.
It's a great point. But, I mean, McCarthy has his issues. I mean, McCarthy has his clock management issues, and, you know, he can be frustrating at times. While I wouldn't mind Mike McCarthy as the next head coach of my team, I do understand that that's what I'm getting myself into if he is hired.
I think that the difference between McCarthy and Harbaugh, and when you look at those same records, people try to say, like, what can you point to that McCarthy definitely or Harbaugh definitely does better? And I would just say one of them had Aaron Rodgers. One of them had Joe Flacco for that same timeline. And obviously the wins with Flacco are more impressive, but that's almost been made up for the last 7 years. I know Dak's great, but what Harbaugh got out of Lamar is as good as what McCarthy got out of Rodgers. But Rodgers-Prescott is a better pairing than Flacco-Jackson over 20 years.
I think it's funny because my dad asked me the question last night. He goes, well, what does bringing Harbaugh in do for Dart? And I go, it's not exactly what Harbaugh would do for Dart specifically. It's who Harbaugh would bring in for Dart and the way the rest of the team is coached and how the team is going to get better around Jackson Dart. And Dart will get better, like, no doubt, but like, it's what the rest of the team will do and who they bring in to coach Jackson Dart, which makes it so much more special. I'm pissed this morning because I don't
now there's a wrench in it. There's a wrench in it now with Miami, but I would push back on a lot of fans thinking about what a head coach is supposed to do when you have a young quarterback. Too many fans focus on who's the best coach for Dart, who's the best coach for Cam Ward. Who's going to win you games? The head coach's job is to win games.
Mm-hmm.
And if Jackson Dart turns into a 19 touchdown a year quarterback who turns the ball over 3 times a game or 3 times a year, and you go 12, 13 wins, I'd rather that than a guy like Mike McCarthy, who I'm not saying this would happen with, but comes in and darts a 35 touchdown quarterback who's winning 8 games every year. Like, Harbaugh might turn him into a Jalen Hurts type of quarterback where he's not producing at the rate that he can, but you're winning. That's what it's about. Head coaches have to win.
And that's all that matters. That's all that matters is winning football games. And I agree with you. I think a lot of it is, well, let's hire the sexy offensive mind. Let's hire the guy that has the best X's and O's, like Mike McDaniel, who I like and I think would be a decent hire for some teams. But I agree with you. Like, let's just win football games because this is one of those coaches that can actually change everything about an organization and win games that you never even dreamed of winning. Like that's that's what Harbaugh does for this organization.
Could we quickly rank the head coach openings? I want your list because I haven't actually gotten your full list yet of this. I'm going to write mine down here, but I think I've sent them to you already for me. And no one's talking about it because everyone's talking about Harbaugh, but the Ravens job opening is a generational all-time great job opening.
Yep.
Because these just don't open. I think Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Green Bay, and New England are maybe like the 4 you cannot turn down if offered jobs.
That makes sense.
And now, honestly, the Eagles might be there too. But
well, I don't think the Eagles are opening.
No, they're not.
Because I think the Eagles are winning this week. So
yeah, go Birds.
I'm go Birds, go Bills, go Pack this week. Go Steelers.
This is a Birds podcast now.
This is Birds podcast. All right. Like, I'm just trying. Like, I could tell you the teams. You know what? I'm just going on Twitter.
Sometimes I'm about to finish up mine here. So.
Sometimes when you try and Google stuff, man, it is the freaking worst. Sorry. Bad morning. Bad week. All right.
There's 7 openings, right? Or 8 openings now?
8 openings now.
All right.
Yeah, it's a guy, Michael Fabiano.
Okay.
Tweets out like a prediction of where guys are going to go. So it's Harbaugh Giants, Falcons Stefanski, McCarthy to the Titans, Kingsbury to the Raiders, Flores to the Ravens, Kubiak to the Cardinals, and Minter to the Browns. And I go, Clint Kubiak would go back to Seattle as the OC before he accepted the Arizona job. Same with Minter, who seems like a lock for the Baltimore job. Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, please. You get paid to talk about football, and that's your prediction.
I don't like that list.
Clint Kubiak is going to Arizona. Oh, yeah, okay.
Also, on a side note, I was thinking back to last year. I thought last year was a really predictable coaching cycle. Johnson goes to Coach Caleb. Vrabel goes to New England.
Yep.
Everybody had Glenn to the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually it became very obvious Cohn was going to Jacksonville. And after a week of this, the Saints like interviewing no one, you knew it was going to be Kellen Moore whenever their season was over.
Yeah.
Last year was a very predictable coaching cycle.
This year, crazy. All right, so
this year also, I mean, think about the perception of this 3 weeks ago where everyone was like, there's going to be 3 openings and it's going to be Hafley, Shula, and McCarthy as the guys. And now it's 8 openings: John Harbaugh, Mike McDaniel, Kevin Stefanski, Mike McCarthy, Brian Flores, Chris Shula, Jesse Minter, Jeff Hafley, Clint Kubiak go.
I don't even think Shula gets a job.
I don't think so either, because I think that he would only take the Baltimore Giants, Falcons, or maybe like, I don't even think he'd take another job. And I don't think any of them, they're just better options than, because there's just experienced guys. He's better off waiting a year.
Yep, I agree.
And the Rams are going to be good. He's in one of those situations where the Rams are going to be good next year. Like, you're going to still be a candidate a year from now.
Big time. Even more, wanted. What's the word?
Even more highly coveted next year. Even. All right, who do you got?
All right, so 1 would obviously be the Ravens.
Yep.
2, I would have the Giants.
Okay.
3, I would go Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
This is where it gets really tough.
That's got to be the unanimous top 3. I've seen people put the Falcons below teams like the Raiders and Titans, and that's just nonsense.
Can't do it. I think I would go. I think I'd probably put the Raiders at 4. You have the first pick. You're going to get your quarterback. You have Brock Bowers. You have Ashton Genty. You have something to work with there offensively. Okay. So I go Raiders 4. Titans 5. I have a quarterback.
Yeah.
Dolphins 6. Browns 7. Cardinals 8.
Wow. That's not the finish I have. I have Ravens 1, Falcons 2, Giants 3, Titans 4, Raiders 5, Dolphins 6, Cardinals 7, Browns 8. But
okay,
kind of in the same place there. I've said it a million times. I like the Falcons job as much as any after the Ravens because of the GM opening, really. And I think that their roster is so good. I mean, this draft that they had last year might be the best draft ever by a GM that got fired the season right after. They hit on every pick. Jalen Walker's a stud. James Pierce Jr. is even better. Xavier Watts in round 3. That James Pierce Jr. trade, they traded their first next year for 2 picks this year, and they got James Pierce Jr. and Xavier Watts, who looks like the next great safety in the NFL.
Good on what's his name?
Terry Fontenot.
Fontenot. Gone, fired, but
done. Sucked, but hit it, really left them with something there.
I like the Falcons job, and I think it's very close with the Giants there, but I think, I think Kubiak. I think Kubiak leaves for them.
I think it's Atlanta too for Kubiak.
And I think it's a really good spot for him. And I think they would hit that right on the head with Kubiak.
QB whisperer too. Yep. Nobody really notices it, but his QB's put up great stats every year. He's been now an OC for like 9 years. Every year he's got quarterbacks put up monster stats. I think that the Falcons Giants thing is case by case basis. Like I think Harbaugh would rather coach the Giants. I think Kubiak would rather coach the Falcons. I think some of these coordinators would go maybe towards Atlanta, lean there. I just know I would rather coach the Falcons, but I'm not being offered any of these jobs. So.
Thank God.
No, not thank God. You guys would be lucky.
I read yesterday from somebody in Seattle that Kubiak is he's ready. Like he's ready for this opportunity. Yeah. Very even keel, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. Just an incredibly smart guy and a great family-oriented person that the players love. I mean, he just feels like this home run candidate, and I don't think it gets talked about enough. Like Ben Johnson was obviously incredibly, I don't even want to say overhyped, but overhyped, and he lived up to the hype because he's that good and maybe even better. But I think Kubiak could speed to that level of some sorts, that good of a coach.
Yep.
If he does land in the right spot, like Atlanta, which I would say is the right spot in this cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. Where would in this coach, what would the attractiveness level of Saleh McDaniel be if Saleh was the coach, McDaniel was the OC? Saleh's biggest flaw in New York with the Jets was he had a few game management issues, but if he had an OC, they would have been in the playoffs every year.
Yeah, I would be okay with that. I just don't think it's for any of the top top 5 teams.
That's like a you maybe starts at the Titans, maybe.
Yeah.
Where you'd say, okay, we're excited to get McDaniel in here to coach Cam Ward. We like Saleh, what he'll bring to the defense. But then it's really like a Cardinals-Browns job because Miami would never do it with McDaniel.
And I feel like McDaniel could do a lot better than Arizona as the OC.
Well, if you were Arizona or Cleveland and they were both in for interviews, who would you hire to be the head coach?
I would hire McDaniel.
I would too.
Yeah.
Because once Saleh loses McDaniel next year, Saleh loses all his appeal for me.
Yeah. I think Saleh's in Arizona for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. I think he gets a job. I do.
But let's ask this question. Does he take that? Like if he's offered the Arizona Cardinals job, does he take it or does he wait?
I think he'd take Arizona. I don't think he'd take Cleveland.
Okay.
And I think Cleveland might offer him that. I don't think he would take
as if that's any better. Like as if it's.
I know. I think putting Jets and then Browns on your resume is just not. Yeah, the way to go.
Or Cardinals. Like I don't want the Cardinal job either.
I think the Browns job is the same way the Raiders job is attractive. I think the Browns job is unattractive. Would be a total cannot take for me.
I mean, he would have that defense flying around. That's the only thing. Like that defense
he would,
already so good.
They already did.
They're already.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do there offensively that Stefanski was unable to do?
People in Cleveland want to just hire Jim Schwartz. Like if they're going defense, they just want to promote Schwartz and make him the head coach.
Yeah, that's got buzz to it.
Yeah, but, they're probably gonna hire McDaniel. No, they love McDaniel.
I think they might. There were a lot of rumors about that week 17, week 18. That if he was available, they'd love to do it. But would he take that?
I don't know.
Like, would you rather take that or go run the Lions offense for a year?
Would he hire him?
I think he would after last season.
It's one of those jobs, if you get it offered to you, that you have to at least shop around every single opportunity you get to be the offensive coordinator somewhere.
Yeah, because if you can get Seattle or Detroit, it might be a more appealing 1-year stop than Cleveland for 3 years.
Yeah. Wait, say that again?
Wouldn't it be storybook if the Jets and Giants were coached by 2 former players, Glenn and Pierce? Storybook.
I'm done if they hire Pierce.
That's
Like,
the New York football fairy tale ending.
I've said this for like a year now, that if they hired Antonio Pierce, I'm done. I'm out.
What's the scenario that the Giants, like we did this with the Mets, what's the Giants' doomsday coaching scenario? Is it McCarthy goes to Tennessee, Harbaugh goes to Miami, Stefanski goes to Atlanta, and then like they end up with, Shula wants to stay with the Rams another year.
Yeah, like you didn't mention one guy. Like if it ended up being Kubiak, I'd say let's go.
I'm still trying to find a spot for him in my head.
Back in Seattle.
Kubiak, Arizona, just like that guy said. And then like Halfley, that's the worst the Giants could do here, is a guy like that, which is not bad. Like this is a really it went from being a terrible time to fire your coach to a great time to fire your coach.
Yeah, but at the same time, if it ends up being Halfley, I'm pissed to no end. I mean, like just enraged.
That's why guys like, Antonio Pierce only ever had a shot, I thought, at the Giants job. If he was going to get any, I didn't think he was going to, but if he was going to get any, it would have been the Giants. But a guy like Vance Joseph, who probably thought he had a really good shot at getting back into a head coaching job.
Nope.
Last 72 hours have made it impossible.
Yep.
Unless you take Cleveland.
Davis Webb and Vance Joseph.
Davis Webb and Vance Joseph. All right, I'm ready to talk Wild Card Weekend.
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
Enough of
Go through every game here. Make our picks. We'll start with that 1 o'clock or that 4 o'clock Saturday. Rams, Panthers. What do you got?
Yeah, I'll take the Rams to win the game, but the spread's 10.5, so I think they'll be within the 10.5. It's a playoff game. You can't lay 10.5. But this Rams team who went there a few weeks ago and lost outright to the Panthers, they want to get them back, and I think that basically took them out of contention for the number 1 seed there, that loss. So they're pissed. They're going to want this one. And like, how do you go any other way? Like, how do you go any other way here?
There's a world where the Panthers win this game.
No,
but
maybe they win the first
not
half.
A world where you can justifiably pick them before it happens. Look at you. What are you sipping on? Coffee in a wine glass?
Yeah.
Look at you, man.
A little bougie today. A little bougie.
That's a really bougie coffee. Morning coffee. All right. I have the Rams too, and I agree with all your points. Packers Bears Saturday night is a 1.5 point road dog. First of the road dogs. We have, I think, 3 road dogs this week. And 4 road dogs.
Home dogs.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 4 road favorites, 4 home dogs in this weekend's first round. And Green Bay's the first of them. Second of them, Rams were. I keep forgetting the Rams are playing.
Yeah, I'm taking the Packers in this game. I think that it's a tough one to pick. It's a division game. I think there's going to be snow, but you look at that Packer-Bear game in Chicago where Malik Willis is playing and they had the miracle comeback. I mean, as much as I love the Bears and they're my NFC team this year, there's no chance in hell like you play that game over. I think we talked about it. The Bears lose that game every time. So miracle comeback without the starting quarterback. Josh Jacobs did nothing in the game. They got to get Jacobs going, who's basically been absent for the last few weeks here, really the last month and a half. Got to get Jacobs going. I think they'll run the football, do enough on offense to win the game.
I'm going to take Chicago. I think that part of this for me, and this might be bad logic, but they haven't played their best game against Green Bay twice now. So I think they finally get it at home in the playoffs. Green Bay's limped in here. They haven't won a game in a month. So I'm going to take the Bears, but you are on our first. No, dude. I keep forgetting this Panthers game exists. So far you have both road teams winning Saturday.
Yeah.
All right. Sunday, but Bills Jags. Best game of the slate for me. Not a better game. I wish that the schedule makers would have given us this on Sunday Night Football. I would have flipped those 2 games, but either way, Bills Jags. Bills are a 1.5 favorite in Jacksonville. I can't go against the Jags here.
I'm so pumped for this game. Like you mentioned, one of the better games, the best game. I agree with you. I'm going to say something and it may make you mad. I think if Jacksonville wins this game, they're going to the Super Bowl. Like, I can't believe I'm saying this.
We'll go through the whole bracket here.
Yeah.
I kind of feel the same way.
I think if they can escape this one, I think it's a close game, great game. If they could win this game, I think they go to the Super Bowl, and I think they are going to win it. You just, when you were banking on a miracle performance from Josh Allen every single week. Like, it's really tough to expect that it's going to happen every single time. I'll take Trevor Lawrence. I'll take the better team. I'll take the better roster and the better coach, maybe. So I take him. Yeah, I'm going to side with him.
I just want to throw this out there that when we first started doing BTO podcasts 3 years ago, I did a show with Gabe right before the NFL season, and my Super Bowl prediction was Seahawks-Jaguars. Never wrong, only early. Neither team made the playoffs that year, but never wrong, only early. And we now move to the 4:30 last of the NFC games, Niners-Eagles. I think the Eagles are actually my easiest pick of the whole first weekend. I feel more confident in them than I do in the Rams.
I completely agree with you. I think this is I just think this San Francisco team is completely run out of gas, rightfully so. They're incredibly banged up. That Seattle game told you a lot about this team. And now San Francisco's got to go on the road and play a very similar defense in an impossible place to play. I'll be rooting for San Francisco as hard as possible. I think this is a 10 to 14 point win for Philadelphia at home, though.
And then we go, I agree with you, Sunday Night Football, Chargers, Patriots. I'm going to take the Pats here, but it's not a gimme. I don't think that the Patriots are going to just walk in and roll over the Chargers. I know it's an outdoor game. That hurts the Chargers, but they're too banged up. Their offensive line's not good enough, and I don't think that they're able to get this win. But it's definitely possible. I just wouldn't pick them to do it.
Yeah, I think they do. I think they win this game by more than 3.5. I like the Pats here. The Chargers, again, another team that kind of limping in with the injuries that they have. They've had them all season long. And I think the Patriots are tired of hearing about how nobody believes in them and how they've played nobody. I think the Patriots get one win in this postseason, and I think it's a convincing one against the Chargers at home on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, I agree with that. We move on to Monday night. I think that this is another one people feel pretty confident on. I'm not quite at the Eagles level with Houston, but I think the Texans definitely go on the road to Pittsburgh and win this game.
Yeah, I like the Texans here. I've been a Texan fan all season long, believing in them. I think they have a real shot to get to the Super Bowl in the AFC, so we'll see how that goes. But, this Pittsburgh team is not great. A great win against Baltimore. Lucky to win the game. Rodgers did look good, but not against this defense. This defense is different in Houston.
I'm writing down the second round matchups here after getting reseeded, but
yep.
The AFC, the first matchup will hit Patriots-Jaguars. Who would you have advancing through there? Game would be in New England.
Yeah, I'd go Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville would get revenge going back to New England for a big playoff game. Different era. It would be Trevor Lawrence and Drake May instead of Blake Bortles and Tom Brady. But I think Jacksonville would win that game and get to the AFC Championship game.
And then the other one will be Denver hosting the Texans.
Give me Houston. I think Houston's a better team. I think Houston defensively is better. I don't want to play that team, and I think the break for Denver will actually hurt them.
Okay, and that would be incredible if we had a NFC or AFC South championship game. They'd put that on Hulu. But I would actually go the complete opposite and take New England and Denver, the home teams, in that second round. So we have polar opposite AFC championships, and then who would you have coming out of the AFC? Jacksonville?
I had to go Jacksonville.
So I would have Denver coming
Okay.
out. Even though, I don't feel confident in them as a Super Bowl pick. Led the league in punts, led the league in penalties. But if this is the way the bracket's going, as of today, I'd pick them to just end up winning their home games. So I would like to see Jacksonville there. I'm rooting for the Jags. I'll be jagging off this postseason.
Whoa.
Next up is the NFC, where I believe we have, for you, Green Bay would play
Seattle.
The top-seeded Seahawks in round 2. Who would you have in that one?
I would go Seattle in that game. Pretty big.
Yeah, I would go Seattle also. I'd have Seattle versus... Mine would be the more interesting of the two playoff brackets in the NFC because I'd have Seattle Rams, and that would be a great third game coming in that second round. So you got to hope that the Packers actually lose this first week so we get this in round 2. I would... Oh, man, that's a tough one. Seattle Rams in round 2. You feel like that's the NFC Championship, too.
Yep.
I'd probably go Seattle.
I think you got to go Seattle.
I think I'd go Seattle. They've just been so great.
I agree.
And then what would the other matchup be? For you, it would be Philly versus Philly versus
The Rams for me.
Rams. Yeah, you'd have Philly Rams. Yep. And
And
I'd
I
have
would go
Philly Bears.
And I would go Philly in that game, Philly Rams. I would go Philly. Just the defense that Philly has. They kind of have this ownership over the Rams right now. I said during the regular season that the Rams would get them in the postseason, and as much as it pains me, I think it would be Philly in this game.
I would actually have, I think, Seattle Bears in my NFC Championship.
You'd pick
with
the
way
Bears.
I'd pick the Bears at home to beat the Eagles. Eagles haven't been great this year. And the defense is terrific, but so is Chicago's. I don't think Philly gets out of that game. So I would take Chicago here, who just feel like a team of destiny, winning all these close games this season. If they get out of that first round, which is tough, if they get out of that first round against Green Bay, I feel great about them. I'm going to go Bears, Seahawks. I'll pick Seattle to go. Now I have the most chalk bracket because I have 1 and 2 seeds in both my conference championships, and I have the 1 seed in both Super Bowl scenarios. But sorry, guys.
I got Seattle beating Philly in the NFC Championship game, and we got a Seattle Jags Super Bowl.
All right, I have a Seattle Denver. First of all, just think about those 2 AFC NFC Championship scenarios anyways. Yeah. Seattle versus Chicago, or the fact that Seattle's hosting it in both scenarios is crazy from a preseason perspective. Then I have New England, Denver, and you have Jacksonville, Houston, both of which are very realistic.
Yeah.
Who would have seen that coming?
We would.
And neither of us give Buffalo a win, which is not going to be popular.
Buffalo probably wins the game by 3 touchdowns now.
Buffalo probably wins by 3 touchdowns. So I have Seattle, Denver in the Super Bowl. I'll take Seattle to win. You're taking Seattle to win also?
I will take Seattle to win, yes.
All right, so Seattle's our Super Bowl champ. That's our preview. What are you looking forward to most this wild card weekend? Who are you looking forward to watching the most? And do you think any of these coaches could get fired? McDermott, Tomlin?
Yeah, I think if it's bad in Buffalo or in Jacksonville, I think that he could go. McDermott could go. Same thing with Philly. If they lose this game, I think there's some real chatter. I don't know if they actually pull the trigger, but I think there's some real chatter, and there will be changes in the coaching staff.
Yeah.
What was the other question?
I don't know. Who are you excited to watch?
Oh, Buffalo, Jacksonville. I can't wait.
Buffalo, Jacksonville is one of the most exciting first-round playoff matchups I think we've had in a few years. It's that great, this playoff matchup.
It is. And I'll look forward to Philly, San Francisco as well. That's a rivalry now. I mean, that's a little bit of a rivalry now.
Yep. We have the Rams winning on the road. You have the Packers winning on the road. You have the Texans winning on the road.
Yeah.
I think that is a very popular 3 picks.
Yeah.
Which of those 3, and I'll throw in Buffalo too, but who do you think has the best chance and worst chances to win that road playoff game in round 1? Best chance is probably Buffalo, right? Rams are the best chance by far.
Rams are the best chance. Buffalo will be second. And I guess the worst chance would be, Houston, who has to go on the road to Pittsburgh and play Mike Tomlin as an underdog.
Yeah, I think there's a real chance Pittsburgh wins that game.
Yeah, I know.
It's real scary. Shot Pittsburgh wins an ugly game there.
It's scary, but I have to stick with my guns. I have to stick with Houston.
I don't like that Texans run game at all. I don't like the offensive line much. And putting Stroud outdoors, we'll see. Putting that offense outdoors. They've won both of their playoff games in the Stroud era at home.
One game. One win.
Game. And how big would that one be for Tomlin and Rodgers? Oh, my gosh.
I know. And I think Tomlin, you mentioned Tomlin before, like if he goes, it's on his own and he's taking a year off like we had talked about. But, so I Pittsburgh doesn't scare me as this. I guess they would. They would be a really, really attractive job.
If Pittsburgh opened and they offered it to Harbaugh, I wouldn't be surprised if he got it. I just don't think they'd offer it to Harbaugh.
Yeah, it'd be Shula probably.
That would be Shula or one of the. I think that Pittsburgh and Baltimore are both going to look to get young on this.
Yeah,
and not go after a 63-year-old.
I agree. Ageist.
College football playoff. Well, actually, I'll say this first. Pittsburgh wins. They probably go play Denver round 2. But I don't think they'd win in Denver. But if they had to go to New England because Buffalo won, I like Pittsburgh's chances to beat New England again.
Really?
In New England. Yeah, I don't think I'd pick them again. This is one of those, but like the whole narrative can flip here if they can somehow beat Houston, which I don't think is going to happen.
That would be
Houston's defense is too good.
That would be a fascinating matchup. Rodgers in New England against not the same dynasty, but the team that had the greatest dynasty.
Yeah.
Like that would just be a fascinating, fun matchup.
And they played every year, Patriots, Steelers.
Yep.
For 5 or 6 years, they played every year, Roethlisberger, Brady. But do you think this is Rodgers' last game if they lose?
I don't know. I think the way he's been acting, maybe. I thought he was coming back though with the way he played. I thought he had at least one more year in him. So, I think based off his play, I think he could play one more year.
Yeah, I think this is it. I think this is the end. And I think getting into the playoffs was a great way for him personally to go out. I think he's satisfied with it. All right, college football playoff games. Then we're going to bounce out of here. The game tonight is Miami Ole Miss. I think we have two really good semifinal matchups here. Very exciting. Tomorrow's game has so much on the line in so many different football aspects with the two quarterbacks. But your pick tonight.
Yeah, I'll go Miami. I haven't believed in Miami all year, so maybe I'll just jump on the bandwagon now.
And ruin it.
They're ruin it. They're very good. 3.5 point favorites today, 3-point favorites tonight. This is a team that a lot of NFL players, Carson Beck has the experience. You look at Trinidad. I mean, this is a guy that doesn't have the same kind of playoff pedigree and big game pedigree like Carson Beck does. So at times I don't trust Beck, but he makes the big mistake. He's prone to it, and he's due for that kind of just make you want to throw up in your mouth kind of game. I just, the fact that he's been in these moments before makes me feel a little bit more comfortable.
The pick for me would definitely be here, Miami. I think they're better roster, overpowering defensive front, and their offensive line is very good too. So I think they'll win that. For Ole Miss, feels like an opportunity you got to win because who knows what the next few years look like for you. High over-under in this game, 52.5 points. I think the Miami-Texas A&M game was like 49.5.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a 13-point game.
Yep.
10-3 final, but I'd love a shootout tonight in this one. And then tomorrow night, you get that Indiana-Oregon matchup. Second time this year. Who do you like there?
I like Indiana. I do. I think it's a really great game. I think it's an amazing football game. I think it's really tough to beat a team twice, a great team twice like Indiana, or Oregon, excuse me. But you just look around, you look at that Indiana team, like they just have grown men on that team. Like there's not many underclassmen playing for Indiana. It's a bunch of older guys that are coached right and play tough. And this is it's a fantastic game. It's a huge game for the quarterbacks, which I'm sure we're going to talk about. But give me Indiana. Give me the better quarterback this season. And frankly, the coach I trust the most, as good as Lanning is Cignetti. I'll take Cignetti.
Yeah, I think that Indiana's just a powerhouse right now. I can't pick against them. I want to pick Oregon. I could see them winning this game. But you can't pick against Indiana with what they've done. I mean, they made Alabama look like an bad FBS school. And Alabama wasn't very good this year, but Oregon's way better. But, man, I just can't see them losing. So what do you think? Ole Miss and Oregon would be the picks because we both just picked.
Yeah, that would make sense. I got to say I'm rooting for Ole Miss. I am
too.
Hard for Ole Miss.
Chambliss is a sick watch too. He's fun watch.
He's fun, and he could just F up the entire game for you. He could totally F up the game.
The storyline of Kiffin and Golding is just how do you not root for it?
Exactly. Golding seems like a guy you don't want to F with either.
No, he seems like the real deal. You can see why the players responded to him the way they have.
Right away. Yep.
And then you have guys like Joe Judge this week making headlines too, just ready to go for this game.
I love Joe Judge.
Ready to go for this game.
Love Joe Judge. I'd hire Joe Judge actually on the spot after his comment the other day.
All right, that's a wrap on this show. Good app. See what happens this weekend. We'll probably Sunday recap it Monday morning or Tuesday morning. Talk about the wild card weekend games. We'll have content though on Instagram and TikTok throughout, so make sure to follow, subscribe here, throw us a like. Appreciate you sitting, watching on YouTube or Instagram, wherever you were, and we will catch you in the next one after the weekend. Enjoy all the football this weekend, and I hope for Giants fans, the next time we do an episode about you, John Harbaugh is your head coach.